Okay, hi Roses. I just wanted to do something a little different today. Let's do a pick a card, all right? So I have the three cards here, and let's see what this energy is about. Um, I'm gonna do each pile separately and go for a little walk and really feel out the energy for this. And if you resonate with any of these cards here, we can get started with picking out your pile for each section. But we'll pick out your cards for each pile and see what kind of messages we get. So this is just the first portion. You can skip ahead. Okay, and there we have it. So let's see. It's gonna be pile 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that might be backwards on the screen. And 3. Okay, so let's hit the road and see what this energy is about. Hi, Pile 1. Something really interesting happened with your energy. I got really tangled up and I did all of these readings I did the first one last and the last one first. And that is the message of this reading. The first shall be last, the last shall be first, and all of them are equal. Because since this is the last reading I'm doing, I actually plan, we're just going to do this one back at home. It's hot. I don't want to complain about the heat, but it's very hot. I'm sweating. I'm drenched. And I was just ready to go back in the house. But I said, no, this is my job. I was hired to do this job. I'm going to do this job and do this reading right. And found a nice place to set up. And the first message I see is this parable with Christ talking about his employees and someone who was hired to do a job. It says, but when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And it's even mentioning about the heat. Like, they were complaining about the heat. So this is really interesting. It says, so the last shall be first, and the first last, for many be called, but few are chosen. And let me see if I can find that portion about the heat. Because there's also mention like, don't complain. I mean, it's for whatever side you're on, because I feel like you could be the one that actually went home and got your rest, and you're sitting in the air conditioning and you're still favored by God. Oh, here it is, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and the heat of the day. So that is so interesting, because I was really thinking like, I'm gonna, withstand this heat and do this, and like it's something major, or to be out here in the field, like it's really something major. But it's just like, it's not because of the works or whatever. Whoever needs this message, whatever angle you're on, if you're the one who's doing more, you feel like you're being given equal payment or equal appreciation or praise as people who aren't doing anything at all. There's just something so interesting here, because this is the last and it's the first. So I don't know whoever that is meant for. Whoever needs to hear that is like, we're all equal. And also, like, you choose to work because you want to work and you love it. Is like, if you're not working and you're still getting paid, maybe you have a trust, or you get benefits or something like that, or you have savings or whatever it is. Maybe you have a job that really doesn't require that much labor. And so you have a lot of free time, but you're still getting the rest and relaxation, and you feel like you're on top of the world. You don't have to be ashamed because of the little amount of work that you do. But also for people who do the work, I'm just going to use these cards for this reading. For the people who do the work, it's like you have to realize that you're not you're not receiving any type of advantage. That's hard for me to hear. Okay. This could be a magician. This could be another psychic I'm talking to, because that was the energy here. Like, I just kept hearing psychic, psychic, psychic. Like, it's the diagnosis, like the medical term of being a psychic and being able to, because the purpose of me coming out here was to get away from the noise happening at home. And it wasn't really like, you know, that's the real truth of it. It wasn't like I don't know how to say, but like better than the person who sits at a desk and does readings, and I'm out on the field doing more. So I don't know. That was just a humbling kind of a message for someone. Maybe someone else needs to hear something like that. Like, your position in the world, or even the underworld, is like, you're still like everyone else. Someone needs to hear this. Like, maybe it's just like an ego burn for some people. Also hearing like the burn of alcohol when you take a drink. Like, maybe somebody sitting at a bar, like, long day of work, and maybe there's other people at that bar who haven't had a long day of work and they're drinking right along with you, or something like that. Like, you're still equal to everyone, and that's a really good thing. 211 here. I started this reading at 11:01, so that could be significant. 11:11. Okay, you have death. Almost like everybody goes to the same place. But that's what's good, because you get to relax. Like, when it's all said and done, you go home into your air conditioner, or if you don't have an air conditioner, just to your bed or whatever it is you go home to. You're still laying on the same solid ground as everyone else. You don't have to keep yourself up and above and feeling like you're better, or you're constantly working. Like, you do get that same rest. Because I'm really feeling like it's meant to see things in a positive light. And then we have Samson here. Almost like somebody is falling. Like someone is being brought down a peg or two, because Delilah cut Samson's hair and made him weaker. So there's something interesting about that. Maybe someone's being knocked down a peg or two. Maybe you felt like you were more powerful than other people. I'm speaking directly to you, whoever it is I'm talking to, but it could be anybody you're dealing with. I'm also talking to myself. So maybe this could be what this reading is about. Just being comfortable being less than. And whoever needs to hear this, that is so powerful. This is 4 feathers. 4 swords means to take a rest. Elijah's retreat into silence. After the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. So yeah, it feels like you have to be okay with taking a rest from being on top of everybody, even on top of the world. And even if it's like falling into a deep rest or a deep sleep, being knocked down a peg or demoted in some way, it's still good for your spirit and your soul, because you work so, whoever this is, you do work hard, and you're receiving the same amount as people who don't work at all. I'm on that side right now, so it feels like it's unfair, but it's the law. But many that are the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. It's like get prepared for this. But also, like, you're still receiving what you agreed to. Even if it was just a penny, you're still receiving it. And that's what you're grateful that you got to work, because I feel like whoever chose to work wants to work. And it's a blessing that you have something to do. And whoever doesn't want to work doesn't have to work. And it's a blessing that they don't have to work. So I feel like everybody gets what they want here. And just maybe this is just a reminder that this is what you asked for and you're receiving it. You get to be grateful and happy about it. Like, you get to rest. Maybe for some people it was difficult to rest, but now you have an excuse because you were out all day working, or you spent your life working hard. Maybe I'm talking to an older generation. Like, maybe you put in the hours, you got your tenure or something like that, and now it's time to retire, and you're retiring next to teenagers who don't work at all or something. Like, they're playing video games and getting paid to play video games. Or real life, like, is an option now. Some people do play video games and receive benefits because of it. And maybe it's just like, whatever side you're on, you're blessed. Okay. David harped and played with his hands, so Saul was refreshed and well, and the evil spirit departed from him. Like, maybe even if you are spending your retirement around teenagers, like, you still had that energy. You have a teenager's energy and you're relaxing. Like, that's a blessing. Power of prayer. Give the situation to God for uplifting and healing, and be open to miracles. Heaven's unlimited resources, love, and answers are await your prayers. Be sure to act upon the divine guidance God gives prayers. So you could be praying for something. Your prayer is very powerful and it's being heard. Also, there's something about the mother of Jesus, which we didn't really touch on, but there's some energy here about a mother possibly praying for a son, or there's some motherly energy or nurturing energy here. Your energy is being heard. You could be a nurturer. Okay. And then we have abundance mindset. If you think of your abundance as something that happens in the future, then it will always be one day away from you. See, feel, think, and speak of abundance as something you already have in the present moment, and that is what you will experience. So think, speak, feel, see abundance you already have in the present moment, and that is what you will experience. So yeah, I feel like with that message of retirement and working, is like, you work because you have to work. Like, even in this moment that I'm outside. Like, we're outside. That's a good thing. When usually it's like the kids are outside and men outside and women outside, or whoever it is, dogs outside, cars outside. Like, it was the noise that brought me outside to begin with. And usually it's like I'm trying to focus in the house and everything's a distraction. But now, I'm part of that life that's living. So maybe that's a message for somebody. Everything that you're doing right now is your life. And it's not just about the end of your life. It's not just about going home and going to sleep, or retiring, or being done with this, or, getting off of work and drinking a beer or whatever. Like, your work is your life. All things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing you shall receive. So with this prayer here, it's like, if this is not something you want, then pray for it to change, and start to think and believe that it's already changing and something new is happening for you. Because I feel like this is something you're manifesting, and maybe you're happy about it. Let's pull another card for Christ's abundance. Since this is our last reading and also our first reading, let's get 2 cards each. According to your faith, be it unto you. I just saw 1, 2. I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, but it was 1, 2, 5, 4. I don't know if that's significant for some people. But Matthew 9:29, according to your faith, be it unto you. Whatever you ask for, you're going to receive. Whatever you manifest is going to be your life. So I feel like maybe this is a message to really kind of embrace your world and love your world as it is and not kind of constantly push for it to be in the future. So let's get a couple more cards. You have King of Air, knowledgeable, objective, respected. This is how God sees you, and this is also how you probably see yourself. Knight of Fire, confident, passionate, adventurous. Like, you definitely can control your situation. You decide what it looks like. You have all the authority here. You are the narrator. So there's no other voices in your head but your own. And you decide what that looks like, what your story looks like. If you're someone who is miserable or someone who goes out and have fun, goes out and does things that he enjoys. Not necessarily that the King of Air is miserable, but I'm just kind of seeing him standing in the snow with his sword, and this guy is out running around having a good time. Then you have Ace of Earth, abundance, opportunity, resources. So there's three male figures here: a child, someone who is youthful and active, passionate, and someone who's older. So this could be like looking over your life and maybe even understanding, appreciating the journey that you've taken and the path that you've taken, and really seeing all the bits and pieces that come together. And I'm seeing you possibly even looking back over your youthfulness and being proud of yourself, and like you're giving back to yourself in your youth. Like you're feeding back into yourself by looking over your youthfulness or your younger self and saying that you did good things. Looking at the death card here, like somebody really could feel like they're pretty much at the end of their road. But this could be the end of your day. If this is how like you go into a deep rest and you just want to forget the world, you know, it's a good world. It's a good world out there, and you're doing a good job and you're living a good life. This is how you should see things, because I feel like this is what the truth is. So you just embrace the truth. Okay, so that's the energy I have for this reading. This is the only outro I have, but it is the last one I'm doing for today. So I hope you enjoyed. If you want to book a reading, you can do so in the comments. Just let me know in the comments and we'll work that out. Or you can subscribe to my members only for these readings in advance. Although I think I'm going to post this right away. I'm going to go home and edit this. And yeah, so that's it for now. I'm so happy to have you here and taking you out on this journey. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to your pile. So this is pile number 2. Okay. I do remember that. Pile number 2. I looked over your energy, and so I just want to say I appreciate everyone who is watching these earlier readings. Like, I know that is very rough. And so the energy for this reading is that there's a protective aura coming over you. This could be a twin flame. I'm feeling like it's Christ. Like, you have a close relationship with Christ. He abides in you and you abide in him. And this protective aura is giving you so much peace. Like, in situations where you might not have had the confidence before like you had. And this could also be like a piece of loving your neighbors in the past, or just people around you, like kind of harassing you and things like that. And I feel like this energy of love is all over you, and it's just like it's protecting you from whatever you were dealing with in the past. So again, I'm not even sure what I saw to bring me to this information, but I'm gonna have to highlight it next time, because I'm seeing all sorts of different things now. And it just feels like it's a really good time for you. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that's what it was like. Because now I'm seeing harvest, I'm seeing roast, feast, like a season. But when I was walking, doing the meditation for this energy, there was this overwhelming feeling of depression, like someone in mourning, someone throwing dust on their heads. And then let's see what card this is that was flipped over. So, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. So that's what that is. So somebody was feeling burdened at some point, but it's God who gives you the relief from that. Gosh, I don't know what part of this video got cut off, and now I'm starting to think this is going to be a practice run because there are just so many issues that have happened during this reading, and it's the first time I'm doing something like this. But let's continue. Um, let's just continue. I'm not sure what got cut off, but I looked down, it just wasn't recording. So I'm saying look to God and describe your situation through positive eyes. 8 of chalices. After he said this, he was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. Maybe that has something to do with the message that I just spoke. Like, maybe it's just meant for the spirit. Like, you can kind of see what the cards are and see what the message is getting at, but you're not getting left behind. Whatever it is, I feel like the message is meant for you to find and hear within your spirit. You're rising. It's a new day for you. Just keep thinking positively. Anytime you hear something negative, turn it into a positive. Like that's your challenge. That's your new focus and assignment. Inspirational, charismatic, innovative. Because you're in the you could be in the beginning stages of this, or you could be continuing. Maybe you took a break from being positive. Whatever it is, 9 of Feathers represents for you that put you in a downward turn. It's time. Okay, you're not going to be going down forever. It's time to rise back up. And also because rising at 8 is like you really didn't have much time to go down. And I'm looking at the descension of these numbers 10, 9, 8. By the time you get to 8, you're already going back up and reflecting over what it was that made you upset and asking for forgiveness, or just realizing that life happens and everything's meant to happen for a reason, whether it was a mistake or whatever the case is that had you spinning downward. It's time to go back up, rise back up, and man with God, be an inspiration to other people. But also I'm feeling like you being positive, maybe at some point people were mocking you for it, like, oh, you're a Jesus freak or whatever. Even if that's just me that's constantly referring to Christ and you have your own belief systems, it's like do what's for you and don't let anybody stop you. If it's whatever it is that you believe in, let it be your belief and don't let anybody have any type of bad. Like I feel like whatever it is, you're going to learn who you are and respect that and admire that about yourself, and don't let anybody tear that apart. Because I feel like that's what the message is with Christ. Like, he was definitely battered and abused, but he rose back up. So it's like it happens. People do fall from grace, but you rise back up. And this is your opportunity to rise back up, to be creative again, to take action. Kind of like when I felt called to do these readings, like, well, I didn't really practice. I don't really know where I'm going to set up, and how is it going to work, and fumbling and stuttering and all of that stuff. Like, it happens, but you got to start somewhere. And I actually saw King of Fire before I even started this reading, so this wanted to pop up. Let's pull another card. And there's something about musical inclination, like someone around you is musically inclined, or maybe you have the ability to notice patterns in music and song, and it could have affected you in a negative way at some point. Like maybe things started feeling like they were low vibe, and it was like it was having a satanic effect on some people. Okay, partnership, commitment, reconciliation. So this is the love. It's like you're reconnecting and harmonizing with your partner, and that's the original message here with this, or this person here who is playing a musical instrument. I see this woman kind of just absorbing his aura and being part of his vibe. There are some shady people in the audience wearing masks, and there's a mask here and it just look kind of creepy. But the message here is that there's someone who has a musical ability to stay positive, and you're going to be swept up in that flow. If this person isn't you, if it is you, then you're doing this for other peace by being positive and staying positive. Even if they cling on to you because they know that you're a good person, and they just don't have the ability to rise like you do. So it feels like a weight and it feels like a burden. But for other people that don't know that they're clinging to you, they're even lower than those people clinging to you, and they're being lifted up by the people clinging to you. So if that makes any sense, is like, yeah, this is a burden for some people, but you're rising back up. And for some of y'all, you're going to be pulling so many other people up with you. So you have to know that you have support, and that support is trickling down to everyone around you. And I hope that helps for some people. I hope this message was coherent. And I'm going to move on to the next pile. All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for making it to pile. So I'm just going to lay out your cards here. And I have been meditating over the energy. And what I got for this is there's a resurrection happening. And whether it's 3 days or 3 years, you're going to rise back up over this heartbreak, something that got you down. It could have been a situation where you were really forced to look at yourself, repair some wounds, and you're receiving all the resources you need to fix whatever that is that happened to you. And I'm getting a lot of this from this sarcophagus. So this is like a casket, and the casket was used to, we all know, bury Egyptian pharaohs and really rich Egyptians. Is elaborate because they believed that they were going to rise back up. And in many cases, they did. When it comes to Mamiya and what the Europeans did with that, they did rise back up. But what I'm getting from this is you're going to rise back up. Okay, so it's a burial site, it's a casket, but it also represents the resurrection. And this specific woman, this specific casket, is Djit or Jit Mut herself is described in the scriptures of the god Mamti, who is the Egyptian god of war. So she was described as the wet nurse to the god of war, and that's what brings us into the scriptures, because the word war keeps popping up. Also something about the Syrians. You could be Syrian or something about serious. Like this could be a serious matter. 222 is a significant number. So it says, and they continued 3 years without war between Syria and Israel. Okay, and then it says, there's another mention of war here. Something about like there were 3 years of peace. I don't know if I'm going to see it right away, because every time I look, I see something different. But there's also mention of 3 years of peace and then the resurrection. So that's the overall energy that I'm getting for this. Like, and here's the Syrians again. And these are pages from all over the word, from different Bibles. And the Syrians keep popping up as being in a time of war, well, in a time of peace, and then fleeing because of some type of distress. So that could have been what was putting you under. Okay, so let's get into the cards. And this is the first card that I saw at the bottom of the deck. It's the Emperor. So I could be talking to an Aries, or this could be someone who feels like you could feel like you weren't being respected for your position, like you're in authority. But I feel like for some of y'all, you weren't being respected like the way you were supposed to be respected. Like you could have been the oldest child and you were treated like you weren't nothing or something like that, or maybe the man of the household or whatever position of power you have. This could be a work related issue. And I'm seeing Satan keep popping up here. Like Satan is here twice. Satan is bound. Satan stood against Israel. And however that resonates with you, you could have been isolated as someone who was, they might have considered you to be the scapegoat or the black sheep of the family or something like that. I feel like whatever the case is, it was unfair what happened, but you're rising back up. And yeah, like even though you were down, and this is the prodigal son, even you are still in a high position because of this elaborate funeral, like this elaborate casket. It's like you're still important. Maybe someone needs to hear that just very clear as day. You're still very important. And even when you rise up, people are going to see you as being important. Like they're still going to find use from you. Maybe somebody is dealing with what their purpose in life is. Like maybe somebody feels like, because I'm also hearing a lot of the mumia, the Europeans eating the mumia. The Egyptians were consumed. They were dug up and eaten. And it's just like, it just seems so unfair, like so disrespectful to the culture, and you never hear about it, but that's where they all disappeared to. That's why you never hear of more Egyptians being found, because their graves were desecrated. But someone could feel like this is happening to them, like your energy is more important than what is being used for, or something like this. Okay. And with the prodigal son, he left his father's home. I'm going to need to cough. He left his father's home. I just saw 555 on the clock. And my throat was getting really tingly. So he left his home and he was still accepted back. Okay. Excuse me. So you have 9 of water. Wishes, dreams, happiness. I'm getting over something. So I do apologize. Yeah, so there's your resurrection. You're getting over whatever it was that sent you away. Like you could have left home early or ran away from home. You could be out and about and just thinking about things going on in your life that just don't really add up or don't seem fair. But I feel like that energy is coming to a halt. Basically, you're gonna see what it all was meant for. Like, why were you being antagonized the way you were antagonized? Because you're so much stronger now. You probably don't even realize it. Like, you're probably not even thinking about the things that were bothering you before. Conflicts, annoyances, competition, like things were really getting in your way before. And I'm seeing green light, red light. Like you might have been at a red light in your life and now it's time for you to move forward, or is about to be. That light's going to turn green at any moment and you're going to rise back up from this grave. And I wish I really saw it, because I'm going to really have to stop and look, because the word grave, look, it says, because of this day, atonement will be made for you to cleanse you. Then before the Lord, you will be clean from all your sins. Like, it's basically like you went into the grave to be forgiven. And then when you rise back up, none of that stuff is going to matter anymore. Whatever was getting you down or making you feel depressed, for some people, if it's depression, I'm just seeing pit, like you went down into the pit and then you rose back up. Maybe I'll have to start highlighting, but yeah, the message is here over and over again, that there's peace coming into your life that wasn't there before. And it's because of this process that you went through. It's because of this breakdown that you're able to build right back up. And it's not like you tried to break yourself down. Maybe you tried to be strong. But I feel like it was the world that broke you down. And then you have this awakening, pause, perspective, and selflessness. Like it could have been your interest in yourself that people were trying to tear apart, and like they wanted to knock you down a peg. That was their intentions, to knock you down a peg. It was never your personality to beat yourself down or to have doubt in yourself. So that's nothing you ever have to deal with or repair. This is something that the people who were attacking you have to deal with within themselves, because ultimately they're going to have to deal with themselves, the fact that they constantly attack or they're on the attack mode. But you getting caught in their aura, their energy, getting caught by their strays, that's what you're healing from, and also being immune to it. Like you're building an immunity type of energy. God is your source. Everything you need is supplied by the infinite source of God. Your faith opens the doorway to receive. In God, there is no lack or limitation. Rather, there is plenty of abundance for all to share. So I feel like you're getting right back on track wherever you left off. You're getting right back where you left off and starting over, or just finishing where you left off. Like there's really pretty much it's not like you're skipping a beat, and there's no setbacks or obstacles in your way. All you have is more and more energy to pull from. So let's pull one more card for this energy from Christ, words of Christ. Okay. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Yeah. All this and more is what I'm hearing. And then we just keep seeing Satan popping up. Hope you're not scared of ants. Satan popping up, and your inheritance, like the prodigal son coming back. And I mean, you hear what you hear. This is for whoever is resonating with, but it's just like it's done and over with you feeling like you deserve to be crucified, or like you should have taken the fall, or whatever the case is. Like you're rising back up. You're resurrecting from the dead. You're rising back up, and nobody can say or do to stop you this time. Okay, this time you're on track, you're moving forward, and you're sitting on your throne as the emperor. Okay, so that's the energy I got for this reading. I just saw 11:22 on the clock. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is pile number 1 or pile number 3. I'm not sure what pile this is, but it's going to be in the description, and so I'm going to move on to the next one.